When it comes to game development, there is one thing that will hold you back. There is one thing that will stop you from making your game and will definitely stop you from being successful. And that is right here. Your mindset is the single biggest difference between success and failure, between completing something and never actually finishing it. It's your mind that creates that imposter syndrome. It's your mind that tells you that you can't do this. It's your mind that tells you that this is something that only the elite can achieve, or that only lucky people can achieve, and that you're just not one of those people. And that is completely normal. It happened to me, and it happens to me all the time. It's a sign of us being human, always questioning, always wondering. And the people who end up being the most driven and the most motivated are not people that don't have those thoughts. They're people who can overcome them, who can take on those challenges and can face their own doubt and still achieve the things that they believe in. I first started looking at game development about 7 years ago, and that journey lasted probably about a month before I realized, or I thought, that I just couldn't do this. It was too difficult. It was something I wouldn't be able to achieve. And all these thoughts popped into my head. I don't have the skills. I'm not capable enough. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Everything I could tell myself to tell myself why I shouldn't be doing this. And what happened? I stopped doing it. A few years later, I decided to give it another go, but something was different this time. Something had changed in me. I kept on pushing through and telling myself that this is something I will do, not something I can't do. And this is something I will find the time to do. I will find the time in different ways. Back then, I even downloaded a compiler on my mobile phone so then I could develop the game on my phone in any spare moment that I had. That for me really showed me that if I really wanted to find the time, I would find it. And as the years have gone on, it's just gotten even more difficult, but I've never let that be something that would tell me that I would stop, that would tell me that I wasn't able to do it. If these things are gonna stop you from achieving your dreams of creating a video game, they will stop you anyway, whether you think about them or not. But the one thing that will guarantee that these things will stop you, even if they weren't a factor in the first place, is if you focus on them too much, is if you let them take over your thoughts, if you let them destroy your motivation. The way I ended up approaching it was this: what's the worst that can happen? I will try and find the time to put in. I will put myself out there. And if I create a game that no one likes, then who cares? If I can't find the time, then it just will not appear. But I'm not going to stop myself from trying to do that. And as I overcame every challenge, another one presented itself. As I managed to find myself at new stages in my game development career, presenting to people and showcasing my game in front of expos, every time was a new challenge, and every time was another opportunity for me to feel that imposter syndrome. And I felt it. I definitely felt it. And I still feel it to this day. But the key is that I know that's just an emotion and a thought that I'm feeling. I know that's not the real world. I know that every game developer out there starts from somewhere. I know that most indie developers out there have that same feeling as I do. And when you look at all the success stories that are out there, all these solo devs that just managed to make it out of nowhere, games like Meat Boy, games like The First Tree, check out the stories behind those. Check out the people and the struggles that they went through and the mindset and the mental health that they had to overcome to achieve those dreams. And you'll suddenly realize you're not the only one that thinks this way. We all think this way. We think this way about everything, whether it's game development or not. And like I said, the thing that will differentiate whether your game dev journey is a success or not is your mindset and the way that you approach it. We live in a golden age of information where almost every answer to every problem is out there to be found. We don't have to go to libraries anymore and spend hours and hoping to find the right book. We can put the question in Google and there'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of people who've already had that question and had those questions answered. We don't have to build everything from scratch anymore. We've got assets that we can use. We've got game engines that we can use. The world has never been easier to get into game development, but the one thing that hasn't changed and will constantly remain a challenge is the mindset. And it's that mindset that we need to overcome, and it's that mindset that will be the difference between whether you succeed or whether you don't. But how do you keep that motivation going? How do you keep it up for weeks, months, and years? Well, the answer to that is what I call triggers, and you can find out all about that in just a few minutes by watching this video right here.